God says this Sunday is your turning point. Don't miss what's coming. This is not just another Sunday. This is not just another word. God is speaking directly to your spirit right now, saying, this Sunday is your turning point. Not next week, not someday. Now, everything you've endured, every delay, every detour, every sleepless night has led to this moment. The shift you've been waiting for isn't coming from the outside. It's rising from within. Heaven is aligning. The atmosphere is pregnant with breakthrough. This is the divine hour where destiny takes a sharp turn in your favor. So don't brush it off. Don't scroll past this. Don't treat it like it's common, because this Sunday the heavens are declaring a new beginning over your life, and what's coming next will not look like what you've been through. God says you're standing at the edge of transformation. Don't miss it. God says this Sunday is your turning point. Don't miss what's coming. There is a divine stirring in the atmosphere, and it's not random. It's targeted. It's personal. It has your name on it. God is declaring over you, this Sunday is your turning point. This isn't just another message, another video, or another word you scroll past. This is a divine interruption, a holy alert, a shift in the unseen that is demanding your attention right now. All the pressure, the pain, the battles you've silently fought behind closed doors, they weren't in vain. Heaven was watching. Your tears were not lost. Your struggles weren't overlooked. God has been orchestrating something behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to release it. And now he's saying, this Sunday, it all changes. You've been walking through a season that felt like silence, but the silence wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God was preparing the table, setting the stage, aligning people, places, and opportunities you haven't even seen yet. While you were crying, he was building. While you were doubting, he was designing. And now heaven is ready to reveal what's been hidden. This is not about religion. This is not about routine. This is about revelation. This is about stepping into a new identity, a new atmosphere, a new level of spiritual authority. And that starts the moment you stop waiting for the shift and start believing that it's already begun. You've waited long enough. You've second-guessed yourself long enough. You've dimmed your light to fit into places that were never meant to hold you, but God says not anymore. This Sunday, the version of you that rises will not look like the one who bowed down in defeat. The enemy tried to delay you, distract you, discourage you, but it didn't work. You're still standing, and because you're still standing, you're about to see what God has been saving for you. Doors are about to open, not just any doors, but divine doors. Conversations are about to shift, not just casual talk, but prophetic alignment. Favor is about to find you in rooms you never applied for. This isn't hype. This is heaven's agenda, and your only job now is to say yes. Say yes to the new, say yes to the calling, say yes to the version of you that God already sees, even if you don't fully recognize them yet. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to pretend. You just have to be willing. This Sunday is not about showing up to a building. It's about showing up to yourself, showing up to the truth of who you are, a warrior, a light bearer, a vessel of divine purpose. And when you show up in truth, everything that's false begins to fall away. The fear, the doubt, the trauma, the generational cycles, the patterns that have tried to choke your voice and steal your vision. All of it begins to break, because when God declares a turning point, hell can't hold you. No weapon formed can prosper. No lie spoken can stick. No delay can override destiny. The turning point doesn't mean the battle never happened. It means the battle no longer has authority over your future. It means you've crossed a line in the spirit that the enemy can't follow you into. You're not just stepping into a better season. You're stepping into divine alignment. And when you align with God's voice, things accelerate. What should have taken years will happen in months. What others said was impossible will become your testimony. The healing you thought would never come will happen suddenly. The doors you knocked on that never opened will swing wide without effort. This is the power of divine timing. It moves faster than logic, stronger than resistance, and deeper than what your eyes can see. But here's the truth. You must believe it before you see it. You must walk in the new before the evidence arrives. Faith is not waiting to see. It's walking as if it's already done. That's how heaven moves. That's how miracles manifest. That's how destinies turn. So this Sunday, don't come with casual faith. Come with full expectation. Come like the person who knows the shift is already in motion. Come like the version of you that refuses to go back to normal. Come with your heart open, your mind alert, your spirit on fire, because what God is releasing isn't just a blessing. It's a divine reset, a supernatural realignment, a restoration of everything the enemy tried to steal. You're not just turning a corner, you're entering a corridor of divine fulfillment, and everything attached to your name, your calling, your purpose, it's about to rise with you. People may not recognize the new you. That's okay. They weren't assigned to your next chapter anyway. Some relationships won't survive this shift. Some environments won't fit anymore. Don't grieve it. God is pruning to make room for the promise. What's coming is greater than what's been, but to receive it, you must release what no longer serves your spirit, the old wounds, the old voices, the self. Doubt the bitterness, let it go, because you can't carry the weight of yesterday into the future God has prepared. You are being invited into freedom, but freedom requires surrender. Surrender your timeline, surrender your expectations, surrender your limitations. This Sunday is sacred. This Sunday is marked. This Sunday is the day heaven testifies on your behalf. Don't miss it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't second. Guess the pull you feel right now. That pull is your confirmation. That stirring in your soul is the sound of chains breaking. That fire in your chest is the birth of your breakthrough. God isn't teasing you with hope. He's calling you into it. So rise, prepare, reposition your heart. Something greater is coming, and this Sunday, it begins. The shift is here. What was delayed is being released this week. There is a moment when the heavens open, when divine timing overrules every delay, and the Spirit whispers, now. That moment has arrived, not in theory, not in hope, but in power. This week is not ordinary. This is the week where what has been held back, what has been resisted, what has felt out of reach is suddenly, supernaturally released, and not because you've begged for it, but because your spirit is now aligned to receive it. You've endured the waiting room of heaven. You've walked through the quiet seasons where nothing moved, where every door seemed locked, where every effort fell flat. But God was not ignoring you. He was preparing you. While you were asking when, He was building how. While you were frustrated with the delays, God was working on details, and now the shift has come. A holy unlocking is taking place. What was once delayed is being delivered, not because of force, but because you've crossed into divine readiness. You're not the same person who started the journey. The waiting purified you. The storms humbled you. The wilderness tested you, and because you stayed faithful, even when it didn't make sense, heaven has marked this week as a week of release. Get ready to see things that had no movement begin to move. Relationships that were distant begin to return. Opportunities that ghosted you suddenly circle back. Finances that were tight start to flow again. Healing that felt delayed suddenly manifests. This is not random favor. This is the fulfillment of everything that's been maturing beneath the surface. You see, delay doesn't mean denial, it means development. God wasn't punishing you. He was positioning you. He knew what you couldn't carry and immaturity would crush you. So He waited, not to hurt you, but to ready you. And now your time has come. This week is not a coincidence. You didn't just stumble upon this moment. It was prophesied over your life. This is the week where the momentum changes, where the tables turn, where heaven releases what hell couldn't hold back any longer. And the moment you recognize it, the moment you say yes to the shift, the floodgates begin to open. Miracles that were pending will be processed. Prayers that felt stuck in the atmosphere will suddenly land. Strategies that seemed unclear will now become sharp. God is not vague. He is precise. And when He declares it is your week, no system, no demon, no doubt, no curse can stop what's being handed to you. You've been praying for change, but God was changing you. That's the part most people miss. The blessing has been ready. The question was, were you? And now you are. You've let go of pride. You've laid down the ego. You've quieted your heart. You've stopped trying to make it happen in your own strength. And in that surrender, you've stepped into divine alignment. Heaven moves on surrender, not struggle, and now that quiet surrender has triggered a loud release. You're about to see overflow, not because you chased it, but because you became the version of yourself that could carry it. You're about to see promises that were delayed spring up with speed. Things that once took years will now take weeks. Doors that once took knocking will open with no touch. You've entered a realm of supernatural acceleration, and you didn't earn it. You aligned with it. This week, you must be alert. You must stay sensitive. The signs will be everywhere. God will confirm through people, through moments, through feelings that you can't explain but can't deny. And when he shows it to you, respond. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Don't let fear talk you out of it. The door is open now. The window is short. The shift is present. And your only job is to walk boldly into what's being revealed. You've cried for this. You've fasted for this. You've stayed up at night wrestling with God over this, and now he's saying, here it is, take it, carry it, walk in it, no more delay, no more spiritual red tape, no more closed heavens, the clouds are parting. The rain is coming, the harvest is here, but hear this, when the release comes, don't shrink, don't go back to small thinking, don't treat this moment like it's common, you must rise to the level of the release. You must become the answer you've been waiting for. You must think, speak, walk, and plan like someone who understands the weight of answered prayer, because this isn't just a blessing, it's a responsibility. It's a sign that you've been promoted in the spirit realm, and when you've been promoted, the old rules don't apply. The old circles won't understand. The old battles won't hold power. Because you're now operating on a new frequency, one that attracts divine encounters, divine appointments, divine strategy. Your life will begin to feel different. It will move faster. It will require sharper discernment. That's the cost of release. That's the weight of favor. But you're ready. You're more ready than you think. You've been trained by fire, refined by silence, and strengthened by waiting. And now, this week, the gates are opening. God says it's time, so rise, prepare, say yes, make room, take the step, follow the nudge, ignore the doubt, speak the vision, receive the release, because this is the week the delay breaks. This is the week the shift becomes visible. This is the week where the heavens smile and say, finally, you're ready, and once it begins, there's no turning back. Once it begins, the blessing won't be in trickles, it'll be in waves, so step into it with gratitude. Step into it with boldness, step into it with the full expectation that the God who promised is faithful to deliver. What's coming is greater than what was, and it starts right now. Chosen to sense what others can't, the hidden power of the discerning spirit, there is something different about you, and it's not something the world can measure or define. It's not about how loud you speak, how popular you are, or how accepted you feel. It's about what you sense. What you pick up in silence, what you discern in atmospheres others walk through blindly. You were chosen to see beyond what's visible, to hear beyond what's said, to feel what others suppress. You were not made to fit into the noise. You were set apart to detect what's hidden underneath it. There is a sacred gift operating in your life, and it's called discernment. A spiritual compass, a divine radar, a holy sensitivity that allows you to sense what others can't, and it's not a burden, it's a blessing. It's not paranoia, it's prophetic. It's not anxiety, it's awareness. You've been walking through life wondering why certain people drain you, why some environments feel heavy, why some smiles feel fake. Because your spirit was never meant to live on the surface. You are tuned into a higher frequency, one that doesn't just interpret the facts but filters them through truth. You are able to detect the unspoken. You are able to see what's beneath the mask. That's not a weakness. That's spiritual intelligence. That's kingdom perception. That's divine discernment. While others are deceived by appearance, you sense energy, motive, spirit. While others laugh and play, your sensing shifts. You walk into a room and feel the tension before it's spoken. You meet someone and feel something's off even when their words sound right. You say nothing, but you know. That knowing, that silent alarm is the Holy Spirit training you to trust what he reveals, not just what the world shows. And yes, it can be lonely. Yes, it can feel like isolation. Yes, sometimes it feels like you're too sensitive, too deep, too much. But what feels like rejection is really protection. What feels like loneliness is really positioning. God didn't call you to blend. He called you to discern. That's why you can't go everywhere. That's why you can't be around everyone. That's why your spirit gets agitated around chaos, confusion, gossip, or rebellion. because your discernment is not at rest when darkness is present. You weren't built for spiritual blindness, you were anointed for spiritual clarity, and that's not just for your survival, it's for your assignment. God needs you to see the trap before it's set. He needs you to sense the shift before it hits. He needs you to pick up on the enemy's tactics so you can pray before the attack becomes a problem. That's why the warfare on your mind has been so intense, because if the enemy can cloud your discernment, he can delay your destiny. But no more. You are waking up. You are standing tall. You are recognizing the power in your perception. You are not cursed for seeing what others ignore. You are chosen. Your spirit doesn't just react, it detects. And the more you obey those divine nudges, the stronger your discernment becomes. When you cut ties with what your spirit warns you about, you grow. When you trust that uneasy feeling, even when you have no evidence, you ascend. Discernment doesn't come with proof, it comes with presence. It's the quiet voice that says leave, wait, pray, or don't trust that. And those whispers are not random. They are the voice of the shepherd guiding his chosen ones away from harm and toward purpose. That's why the enemy hates your gift, because it exposes him. That's why people with impure motives avoid deep conversations with you, because they feel seen. That's why manipulators try to gaslight you, because your discernment makes them uncomfortable. But don't shrink to make others feel safe. Don't downplay your gift to keep peace. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are spiritually awake. In a world addicted to illusion, you are a vessel of clarity. And that's rare. That's why you feel heavy when others don't. That's why you're alert while others sleepwalk through life. You carry weight in your spirit. You carry prophetic awareness, and it's time to honor it. It's time to stop explaining what God never told you to justify. It's time to stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You don't owe access to everyone. You don't need to give second chances to spirits that dishonor yours. You don't need to doubt what God already confirmed in your soul. You know what you know, even if you can't explain it yet, even if they call you overly spiritual, even if you're the only one who sees it. Your knowing is enough. God gave it to you for a reason. You don't need to wait for physical signs when the spiritual ones are already clear. Discernment is how the Spirit speaks before the situation speaks for itself. And if you've been in a season of confusion or mental fog, it's because your discernment is under attack. The enemy tries to distract you, overload your senses, drown you in overthinking, because if he can dull your discernment, he can delay your obedience. But that attack ends today. Today, your sensitivity is being restored. Your peace is returning. Your spiritual ears are opening. Your spirit is becoming sharper. You will no longer ignore what you feel. You will no longer delay your yes. You will no longer question your gift. The fog is lifting. The confusion is breaking. The weight is being removed because God is calling his discerners to rise up. The kingdom needs your eyes, your ears, your discernment. This world is loud, manipulative, chaotic, and God needs people who can hear the whisper in the wind, who can sense truth in the middle of lies, who can feel love and also detect lust pretending to be love, who can pick up on counterfeits before they wrap themselves in false light. You are that person. You are a gatekeeper, a watchman, a spiritual interpreter. And your presence carries weight in realms most people don't even know exist. So stand firm in your gift. You don't need the crowd when you carry the cloud. You don't need approval when you have anointing. You don't need applause when you walk in alignment. You've been chosen to sense what others can't, and now it's time to walk boldly in that gift. No fear, no shame, no more hiding. The hidden power in your spirit is being unlocked, and the world is about to feel the shift you bring when you walk in full discernment, full awareness, and full obedience. Your spiritual eyes are opening. God is showing you what you couldn't see before. There comes a time when God decides it's no longer acceptable for you to walk blindly through the battlefields of life, when he reaches into your spirit and flips the switch, and suddenly what was hidden becomes clear, what was confusing becomes focused, what was once just noise becomes a divine message. That time is now. This is the season where your spiritual eyes are opening, not the eyes in your head, but the ones in your heart. The ones that can see beyond the surface, beyond the manipulation, beyond the illusion. God is lifting the veil from your vision because he knows it's time for you to stop living beneath your calling. You can't afford to keep walking in circles, entertaining counterfeits, being deceived by smooth talkers and fake light. You can't afford to keep partnering with what's killing your peace. And because you wouldn't see it on your own, God had to open your eyes. This isn't a punishment, this is a promotion, a spiritual awakening, a divine upgrade. What you're feeling right now, the agitation, the sensitivity, the deep knowing that something isn't what it seems, is the evidence that your sight is changing. You are no longer content with surface-level answers. You're no longer accepting what people say at face value. You are beginning to see motives, sense manipulation, feel deception. You're being pulled back from conversations that used to excite you. You're finding it hard to stay around people you once called friends. You're not cold. You're clear, and clarity will always cost you comfort, but don't resist it. Don't shrink to fit into places God is showing you were never for you. You asked God to guide you, and now He's showing you why the delay happened, why certain doors never opened, why certain people left without closure. Because if you had seen what He sees back then, you would have saved yourself a lot of heartbreak. But you weren't ready, you were too attached, too trusting, too emotionally involved, but now you're awake, now you know too much, now you can't unknow what you know, now you can't feel what your spirit has detected. And that's not just discernment, it's divine sight, and with divine sight comes responsibility. You can no longer pretend you don't see the warning signs. You can no longer laugh along with the toxic joke. You can no longer stay silent when your spirit is on fire. This is your moment of spiritual maturity. This is where you become a guardian of your own soul. Because when God opens your eyes, it's not just so you can see people clearer, it's so you can see yourself clearer. See the cycles you kept repeating, see the trauma you were projecting, see the doors you kept forcing open when they were clearly shut by God. He's showing you not just what to avoid, but what to heal. This is not just about discernment, it's about deliverance, deliverance from the fog, the confusion, the fantasy, deliverance from the people, pleasing from the fear of missing out, from the addiction to validation. Because when your spiritual eyes open, you begin to realize that some of the people you called safe were actually sent to sabotage your growth, that some of the things you were fighting for weren't from God, they were distractions. And it hurts to see it. It hurts to realize you poured your heart into something that wasn't real, but this pain is part of your clarity. This ache is part of your breakthrough. Your eyes had to open. You had to stop living by potential and start living by truth. You had to stop calling red flags tests and start calling them what they are, warnings, and now that you see it, you can't go back, you can't unknow it. You can't pretend you didn't see that spirit, that pattern, that behavior. That is the price of spiritual vision, Ruth without filter, and it's also your freedom. Because when God shows you the truth, He's not just exposing others, He's empowering you. Empowering you to choose differently, to walk away confidently, to set boundaries unapologetically. You are no longer under the spell of manipulation. You are no longer a victim of spiritual blindness. You have been upgraded in the spirit, and now everything around you is about to shift. Your conversations will change, your appetite will change, your circle will shrink, your priorities will realign. Don't fight it, flow with it, because God is purifying your perspective so He can promote you. He's stripping away every false alliance, every hidden trap, every subtle attack masked as friendship. You will begin to notice the shift immediately. You'll sense people's energy before they speak. You'll catch the lie behind the compliment. You'll detect jealousy in the laughter. Don't doubt it. Trust it. That's the Spirit of God fine-tuning your perception. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. You're just not asleep anymore, and the devil can't manipulate someone whose eyes are wide open. That's why the warfare increased. That's why your sleep has been disturbed. That's why you've been feeling like your world is shaking, because your sight threatens the systems of deception that were once holding you hostage, but you've been released, and with that release comes new authority. You'll no longer ask for permission to see. You'll no longer explain why your spirit said no. You'll no longer need confirmation to obey, because when your eyes are opened by God, your confidence is rooted in heaven, not in people. You see the trap before it's set. You feel the shift before it happens. You discern the storm before the clouds even form, and that is not to scare you. It's to protect you. God is giving you the advantage. He's giving you clarity before the conflict, strategy before the battle, vision before the decision. Don't ignore it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't ask others to confirm what God has already revealed. Stand in it. Trust it. Move with it. Because from this point on, nothing will look the same again. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You now carry the sight of the Spirit, and what you once walked into blindly, you now walk through boldly. You are no longer bound by illusion. You are free by revelation, and this freedom will guide every step you take next. God is speaking clearly now. Don't ignore what you feel in your spirit. There comes a point when God stops whispering and begins declaring, when the gentle nudges turn into divine urgency, when what you've been brushing off as a passing thought becomes a direct word from the throne of heaven. That point is now. God is speaking clearly, louder than before, and this is not the season to second. Guess what your spirit is picking up? This is not the time to silence your intuition, suppress your discernment, or override what you know deep down is Him. Because when God begins to speak to your spirit, it's not always with thunder or visions. It's often in subtle impressions, repeated patterns, divine discomfort, sudden awareness, and spiritual unease. And if you've been feeling a strange stirring lately, a shift in energy, a discomfort in situations that once felt normal, that's not your imagination, that's revelation. That's God pulling you closer, trying to reroute your steps, trying to remove distractions before they turn into destruction. He's not trying to confuse you. He's trying to confirm something that your spirit already knows, but your flesh keeps trying to deny. You keep asking for signs, but the signs are already speaking. You just have to stop muting them. The anxiety that arises when you're around certain people, the peace that disappears when you consider going back to what you left, the joy that floods your soul when you envision doing the thing you keep putting off. That's your confirmation. Your spirit is not confused. Your spirit is in alignment with the voice of God. But the problem is, your logic is fighting your anointing. Your comfort zone is at war with your calling. But here's what you need to hear today. God is not going to keep repeating Himself. He's speaking now, and the more you delay your obedience, the heavier the consequences become. He's not trying to ruin your plans. He's trying to rescue your purpose. That internal tug of war you feel, that's your spirit trying to respond to what heaven is commanding, because God knows what's ahead. He knows the trap you can't see yet. He knows the fake opportunity dressed up like favor. He knows the people whose mouths say love, but whose hearts carry jealousy, and He's trying to get you out before you get caught in something that takes years to untangle. That's why you're uncomfortable in that friendship. That's why you can't shake the unease about that job. That's why you feel like you're supposed to let go of something that seems good but no longer feels right. Your spirit is ahead of you. It's picking up what your eyes haven't seen yet. That's not fear, it's foresight. That's not doubt, it's discernment, and you've got to start trusting it, because every time you ignore your spirit, you delay your destiny. Every time you rationalize what God already told you to release, you prolong the pain. You've cried over things God warned you about. You've lost sleep over situations your spirit flagged before they ever got deep. And now God is saying, no more ignoring me, no more brushing off my voice. No more over-explaining what your peace already left. If you don't feel rest in it, God's not in it. If you don't feel peace about it, stop forcing it. God's voice is not vague, it's precise. He speaks in alignment, in order, in peace. So if your spirit feels chaotic, confused, consistently unsettled, something is off, and it's time to stop blaming yourself and start listening. You're not crazy. You're not overthinking. You're not too sensitive. You're spiritually awake, and the world doesn't always know what to do with people who live by spirit instead of sight. But you weren't called to be normal. You were called to be led by conviction, by discernment, by the whisper of the Holy Spirit. And the more you listen, the sharper your sensitivity becomes. You'll stop needing outward validation. You'll stop waiting for people to co-sign your obedience. You'll move when God says move, even if it doesn't make sense to your surroundings. That's what walking by faith really looks like. It looks like trusting what you feel in your soul, even when the facts look stable. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing is not what looks broken. It's what looks perfect, but was sent as a distraction. God is trying to preserve you. That's why he's talking to your spirit. That's why you can't settle like others do. That's why your peace leaves the moment you step out of alignment, because you were never meant to walk blindly. You were meant to walk by divine guidance. And when you start to trust that again, everything changes. You'll stop entertaining what your soul knows is counterfeit. You'll stop calling confusion process. You'll stop mistaking chaos for opportunity. And you'll start walking in clarity. Clarity doesn't always mean knowing every step. It means knowing the voice behind the step. And if God is speaking now, and he is, you have to listen. You have to obey even when it hurts. You have to say no even when you want to say yes. You have to walk away even if you don't have a new destination yet. Because obedience always unlocks the next chapter, but disobedience, that keeps you in cycles. That keeps you praying about problems you were supposed to exit months ago. God loves you too much to let you stay blind. That's why he's speaking clearly. That's why he's waking you up. That's why your comfort is being disturbed. He's showing you that your next level won't come through talent. It will come through trust. Trusting what he puts in your heart. Trusting what he confirms in your spirit. Trusting what he removes even if you don't understand it. You don't need all the answers, you just need a surrendered spirit, because when God sees a surrendered heart, he speaks more, he reveals more, he aligns more, and the life you've been praying for begins to unfold, quietly, supernaturally, and powerfully. So don't ignore what you feel. Don't talk yourself out of what your spirit already knows. Don't let fear rob you of this moment. God is speaking right now, directly, clearly. And your breakthrough, your protection, your direction, it all depends on your ability to say, yes, Lord, I hear you, I will obey. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's costly. Because the reward for spiritual obedience is always greater than the pain of temporary sacrifice. And the moment you honor what your spirit feels, heaven will honor what your heart desires.